Yo, what's up guys? It's Char here bringing you guys another episode of Tourney Review, and let's go ahead and get started with doubles. Okay, now we're back with doubles. So this week I decided to change up my teammates yet again, so we decided to team with the boy Hunter, another member of SSS. He's a Lucina player, and we just wanted to do Lucina Ike or maybe Lucina Violet and see how it went. So starting off with round 1, it was our team and we were against Gray Simps, which is a play on the really good raw player from here named Grayson. He put that as like his clan tag, Tourney and Tail. So Tourney I know plays DDD. He plays a lot of low tier characters actually, like he played like D3, he plays K Rule, and then I know he plays Banjo. And he kind of like, he's one of those players that goes for the style a lot more than the wins most of the time. He's still a pretty good player even though he does that. And then his teammate Tail is a Zelda main that I've played a couple of times before, and they're pretty good. So game 1, I can't remember exactly what went down, but I know their team was Piranha Plant and Zelda, I'm pretty sure. So looking at the Piranha Plant and Zelda games, it wasn't too bad on either side. I think me and Hunter were hitting each other a lot at the beginning of the first game, and it just basically we were playing about even, but since that lead happened at the beginning, we couldn't really make it back. We ended up losing game 1. Game 2, I think we ended up going to a smaller stage like Smashville or Battlefield, and then Tony decided to switch to D3, which I didn't really understand the reason because I thought he would get hit a lot more, and that's exactly what happened. Maybe he wasn't feeling the plan anymore after the first round, maybe it was too close, but I don't know. We ended up taking game 2, and then game 3, it was another one of those like heartbreakers. It was like really close, last stock last hit. I think it was a 1v1 at the end, and either me or Hunter wasn't able to clutch it out, so we ended up losing that set 1-2. Then we moved on to losers round 2. There wasn't a lot of teams this week, so there was only one set of people in losers round 1, but in losers round 2 we were up against Indigray and Seiko. Not exactly sure how to say the other player's name, but Seiko played Fox, and I've never seen him before, so I didn't know how good he was, but I know Indigray is a pretty good Ridley player. So game 1, they started off with Ridley, Fox, and then we started off with Ike and Lucina. So game 1 honestly wasn't too bad. I think we ended up losing that game. It was pretty close, but PS2, obviously, I think a lot of the similar problems we were having were hitting each other and not really coordinating kills or being able to take the 1v1s as effectively. Game 2, we decided to take them to a smaller stage, which is always our plan. I think Indigray decided to go Ridley again for some reason. I don't know why. When we took them to smaller stages, they decided to switch to bigger characters because they get comboed more, but I digress. And they ended up losing that one. And then game 3, I think it came down to me and Hunter versus I think it was Indigray, and it was really close. After I was taken out, it was just Indigray versus Hunter, and he ended up just losing the 1v1, and we were out of the tournament 0-2. Yeah, both of the sets were really close. I think I definitely could have played a bit better. I think definitely like the third games of both sets, I could have done more. But I think in general, if we gave the team another go, we'd probably do better. But I think it was tough going. We just had an unfortunate like hitting each other, unfortunate like SDs, and just fortunate like accidental kills that led us to go 0-2. Even though we took 2 games in both sets in total, we still could have done better than that. Now moving on to singles. Okay, so we are back with singles. So let's go ahead and look at this. I started off in round 1 winners. I was 20th seed this week. Again, there weren't that many people at CC in general, so 20th seed is pretty high for me. But they kind of got that confidence from the Ike last week. And like I said in the last tourney review, all Byleth unless it's like a really unwinnable matchup. So round 1, I went against Knack HD. He's a Mega Man player from the area. I've seen him around, and I've seen his Mega Man, and he's like a pretty good player. I think he's definitely getting a lot better. I think he definitely has got a lot better, but I definitely think I was the better player of the two. So I was playing my Byleth against his Mega Man. Round 1, it was just a lot of zoning him out with my fairs, landing Nair, and he didn't really know how to unshield Nair on time. I think it was a lot of matchup unfamiliarity too. But yeah, it wasn't too bad game 1, and then game 2, I think he counterpicked me to Battlefield or some stage which I really didn't mind playing on, and he got laddered. Something that he didn't really deal with very well was he tends to recover high and expend his double jump, and every time he did that, he would get hit by like 4 or 5 up airs. Really hard to get down once your double jump is gone, because you can only air dodge through it, and if I delay it a bit, it'll catch the air dodge anyways, and then you're step back up and you still don't have an escape option. So I ended up taking that set 2-0. Wasn't too bad, but you can see that here. Alright, now moving on to round 2 winners. I had to play B2B Navs. I definitely played Navs before. He's a very good player. Even when I played Ike, the sets were almost even in terms of like friendlies. And he was 13th seed at the tournament, so I definitely was not expected to win. So round 1, he started PT, and I went Byleth, of course. We started on PS2. I think I was doing a pretty good job of fighting Squirtle as Byleth, a lot better than I was doing with Ike, but I was having a lot of trouble with the Ivysaur, and that was something that I carried on throughout the whole set. I can't really sit back and arrow because Razorleaf beats it, and I can't like space around Razorleaf well because Byleth's very slow, so it's a really good projectile, and it's really hard for the character to deal with. Other than that, Charizard was fine too. He caught me with up smash out of shield a couple times because I was like mashing, but game 1 was relatively close if I remember correctly, and I ended up losing it though. So game 2, I decided to counterpick to Smashville because I think he banned Yoshi's, and that's the counterpick I would have taken him to, but so he ended up banning that. We went to Smashville, and again it was a lot of the same story. I was doing well against Squirtle. I was doing well against Charizard, but Ivysaur was giving me a lot of trouble, and I think he really figured it out that game. The score, like the set, was about the same. He might have had 2 stocks. He probably had 1. I think he had 1 stock the first game and 2 the second. So yeah, he definitely had figured me out by that point, and there was a lot of 1, he probably knew the matchup and knew how to exploit a really slow character, and 2, I don't think my punishes were as good as it could have been. I was definitely dropping stuff and not getting the kills when I needed to, which is a big problem, especially when you would camp with Razorleaf, which is a viable strategy, not going to harp on him for it, but I ended up losing that set 0-2, and I went down to loser. So in losers round 2, I ended up fighting Starseer. He was a 39th seed at the tournament. I know him. I've played him a couple times in friendlies. He plays Joker and Snake. Going into it, a lot of it was just playing around Arsene and knowing when to take when to push advantages and when to take fights. And I knew he was probably going to go Joker, so we started off on PS2, and I was doing a really good job of spacing him out with fairs and crossing up Nair on his shield to get combos going. I think I got a ledge get up F smash at one point in game 1, which got me to a really early lead, and after that it was really hard for him to contest my range, especially without Arsene, and he just got hit a lot, and the lead kind of spiraled out of control, and he ended up losing game 1. Game 2, I think he took me to Battlefield, which I didn't really mind because I play a sword character and we have a lot of range, so I definitely didn't mind that. And something that was really funny, it was a lot of the same story. I was just spacing him out really well, but he got Arsene, I think, on his 2nd stock, and I had, and he was like really low percent, and I think I was on my 3rd on really high, and I had been going for arrow a lot when he was across stage with Arsene, and he wasn't really countering it, but I thought he was going to catch on this time for how the way he jumped on stage. He like jumped in, and he saw that I was charging, and I knew he was going to counter it, right? So he jumped in counters, and when you're pulling back the bow, you can hold down B to get the 2nd charge, so when it would have released, he countered, and then I held it down, and the bow started shining gold, and I let it go, and he was in still the lag of the previous counter, and he got hit by it, and into like 40%, and it was so funny. He looked definitely upset about it though, which is fine, because I just wanted to go for it, and I've never hit the Failnaught arrow in tournament before because that movie's completely terrible. But yeah, actually game 2 was definitely on Mementos. Scratch the Battlefield one. Mementos FT, and it was really unfortunate. He tried to edge guard me twice, and he got hit by the up B spike because I was going really low and then double jumping and up being, and he got hit by the spike twice, and the second time I felt bad, so I gave him a homie stock, and the game was definitely really close. The second one, it was like last stock, that's it, but I ended up taking it, and I won the set 2-0. Okay, now moving on to losers from round 3. Now in losers round 3, I fought the 29th seed Latte. I definitely played Latte before. He has a very unorthodox style of playing, to put it kindly. He plays Pit and Dark Pit, and a lot of what he will do is he will play super defensive, and he's like super patient. He'll like go to the other side of the stage. He'll like literally sit on an edge with his back to it and shoot arrows at you the whole game and make you react to it. And then anytime you try to approach him, he'll like shield it and then punish your option. So tomahawking is really good against him, but also having a fast character that can deal with Dark Pit's projectiles is really good. Now, I didn't realize how bad this matchup would be for Byleth. I don't really think it's too bad, but I definitely was not prepared for the style of Pit he was playing. Byleth, since she's so slow, she has a lot of problem dealing with projectiles, as it was seen with Ivysaur and hard zoners in general. Byleth just absolutely gets destroyed by. So from this style of playing Pit, it was very hard for me to like get any advantages in the game. On PS2, you know, I did really good. Like I had really good reads on him, and I would get like some good stocks, but like he always had the lead, and I couldn't play from behind. It was like really hard to do that. So I ended up losing game 1. It was pretty close. Game 2, I ended up taking him to Smashville, but it was a lot of the same story, even with the smaller stage. Besides PS2, I just had a really hard time dealing with his projectiles. I think matchup inexperience, at least with Byleth as opposed to Ike, because with Ike, even though Ike's slow, he gets a lot off his openings, where Byleth gets a couple damage. But yeah, that one, it was a tough game. It was like a tough set. I definitely think I could have won it if I played a bit better and I've been playing Byleth a bit more. Some things I noticed that I need to work on my punishes out of shield, because he would cross up Nair, and I should be able to like jump out and Nair him back or jump out back air, but I was messing that up a lot throughout all my sets, and that's just something I need to work on. But I ended up losing that set 0-2, and I was out of the tournament at 25th, which couldn't be better, but it could be worse. 2 wins, 2 losses. It definitely weren't a lot of people there, so I might have gotten 33rd if it was another you know, CC, because there was definitely about like half the entrants that are usually there, but it's okay, we take those. I need to get back into the lab, just work on some things. I definitely want to just keep grinding it out, playing the character, so I can be able to make them an actual co-main. It was definitely a lot of fun this week, and thank you guys. That's going to be it for today's episode of Tourney Review. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below. Follow me on my socials, on Twitter, join the Discord, watch the streams. Of course, we do 5 streams a week at the very least, and they're always a good time. 2 of them are Smash, and then the other ones are like variety games, so check that out if it interests you. And yeah, that'll be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.